Lots of news today. Ashton Whitty, the writer, activist, and millennial commentator, is joining us from Washington, D.C. amid the chaos following Brett Kavanaugh's confirmation to the Supreme Court. Ashton, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Ashton, you recently went viral, as you are prone to do. Tell us about some of the stuff you've been doing in Washington during the Kavanaugh crisis.
Well, I want to clarify, I'm not the biggest fan of Kavanaugh. Amy was definitely my choice. However, my biggest concern with all of this was the fact that people were so willing to, quote unquote, believe women with no evidence, no witnesses, and no real story. And so as somebody who obviously has a huge issue with false rape allegations, I took it upon myself to go out there and kind of spread my message on this and go out there with a sign that said, Frat Lives Matter. And obviously that got on CNN, that got all over the internet, and Frat Lives Matter is currently kind of taken over Twitter in some way. So I really hope I can actually turn this into a real movement against what is the reoccurring movement against men. Because my huge issue with this is that while I'm not a fan of Brett Kavanaugh, I don't prefer him to be on Supreme Court justice. My issue is that there is such this recurring trend where women are willing to use false rape allegations as a power play in a sense to get what they want, and it's absolutely not okay. They're messing with the lives of innocent people, and to me, this is just it's an attack on men, and it's an attack on the family, it's an attack on what we hold true. And if these people claim to be for justice, why aren't they doing what's just? If you really hate Brett Kavanaugh, why aren't you protesting based on your beliefs? And so I went out there to make my standpoint saying it wasn't okay to make false rape allegations based on political bias. So all these girls, of course, came up to me and started ranting to me, trying to tell me, oh, she's obviously telling the truth. There's no political bias whatsoever. The moment that I disproved the false evidence, the false witnesses, the entire fuzzy story that Christine Ford gave, the girls automatically backtracked. Every single one of the protesters, both men and women, they backtracked and said to me, oh, this isn't about Christine Ford. We're here protesting Kavanaugh in general because he wants to take away abortions and yada, yada, yada. So why isn't I in a giant sea of people holding up believe all women signs? You just tried telling me that Christine Ford has no political agenda, and yet you're here telling me, oh, it's not about Christine Ford. The moment I disprove your false evidence and false claims, there is a political agenda. So you're basically admitting to me that there is a political agenda, not just on Christine Ford's level, but on the protesters' level altogether. This entire thing really is about Kavanaugh and Roe versus Wade, despite the fact they're covering up the entire thing in Christine Ford posters.
Yep. Now Jim, let's show the photo of our friend Ashton Whitty out there. Frat Lives Matter. Oh, Lord. So this has sparked an internet movement. Now, Ashton, first of all, what was it like to be featured on CNN? Did you get to meet Don Lemon?
I did not, but it was sort of just me walking around with a sign in general. I don't think really people knew like it was me, but I do know. I just searched Flat Lives Matter on Twitter. I really hope the hashtag starts trending because I do want to make it into a serious movement for men who are falsely accused. Again, because that's what I originally went out there for. I wasn't out there for Brett Kavanaugh. I wasn't out there for either side, really. I was just out there speaking my mind on false rape accusations. So I really want to turn Frat Lives Matter into a real thing. So my thing was that I was on CNN. No one really knew who I was. And it was so funny searching Frat Lives Matter on Twitter to see so many people on the left not say that I was a woman holding a sign. They all called me an asshole. They all called me some douchebag. One person actually tried saying that I was a guy and that I couldn't get into a fraternity. Well, I'm a woman, so I can't get into a fraternity. But it's so interesting how they try playing it like it's just some basically angry white dude. And again, a lot of the protesters I debated took it back to, oh, Brett Kavanaugh is just an angry white dude who wants to take away my abortions.
Yeah.
It all brings back to that political bias.
So what is the war on men really all about? I mean, on college campuses, it's basically kangaroo courts now in terms of, if somebody is accused, you have the mattress girl. I mean, I think that kind of kicked it all off. What is the war on men really all about? Is it about elections? Is it about some kind of agenda at work? What's going on?
I really do think it's an attack on families in general. The attack on men is also an attack on women, and this is very essential. When you attack the patriarchy, you're also attacking the matriarchy, because you can't have a matriarchal society without the patriarchy. In order for a family to work properly, you need a father figure and a mother figure. It's just how it works. And I think what happened was we've had so much brainwashing in the education system, in the media and pop culture, and celebrities who are absolutely degenerate, you know, like Miley Cyrus and Nicki Minaj and yada, 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 twerking on stage, and Cardi B literally got on stage twerking whilst pregnant. I mean, it's absolute insanity. So I really think this is an attack on the family structure. And I think, you know, in a sense, women have forgotten their place. And I hate to be that person that says women get back in the kitchen, but I think that's what needs to happen. I think women need to get back in the kitchen.
Twerking whilst pregnant. You have a way with words. You can turn a phrase. Twerking
No, that's actually a video. She got on stage rapping and was twerking while she was pregnant.
Wow.
Cardi B actually did that.
So
like, this is normal now.
Yeah. So they're attacking the family now. Are there a lot of women coming out and supporting Frat Lives Matter? Have you seen? I mean, since you've started doing this activism.
You know, there are some. Obviously, right-wingers, obviously, a lot of the women who are supporting this are mothers. Mothers who have young sons who are fraternities or in just boys groups in general. Because fraternity brothers, they're more attacked than ever, despite the fact that fraternal organizations, and not just Greek life on college campuses, but fraternal organizations, I mean, our founding fathers technically were a fraternal organization. Fraternal organizations have helped build strong men through academics, athleticism, business, through volunteer work. The amount of volunteer work that has come from fraternities is absolutely astonishing. And so the fact that we have this giant attack on fraternal organizations, whether it be with false rape accusations, feminists trying to destroy all boys clubs together, it really diminishes men in general. We need these men to grow to be strong, respectful, wonderful men. We need these patriarchal figures for a patriarchal society, because without a patriarchy, again, we can't have a matriarchy. We can't have the maternal values without the paternal values. If women really care about strong women and female empowerment, they will encourage male empowerment.
Interesting. Now, Ashton, this may come as a surprise to you, but we have a good number of men who read big league politics, including a good number of single men. Obviously, nobody wants to be accused of sexual harassment. If you want to ask a woman out in this day and age, with the millennials, with the progressives, with everything that's going on, how do you do it? What's your advice to the men of America?
You know, I would give them the same advice that I give to girls. And a lot of girls come to me and say, why don't men like me? What's going on? I said, well, big number one question, do you sleep with them within the first year of dating? I mean, my huge rule with me now is that I don't sleep with men at all. I preferably am waiting till marriage. I have made that new commitment to myself, because you need to make a commitment to say, when I date somebody, am I going to marry this person? The only reason you should be dating is to ideally find somebody to marry. And so men, I think, you know, I hate to, bring up the Bible thumping. The reason God put these rules in place was for this very reason. Men need to go out there, and not just women. You know, I know I hear about the trad thought thing all the time. Women not only need to follow these rules, but men as well. So many men need to follow these structural rules to find a wife, settle down with her, build a family structure. Look, we can't have traditional values amongst women if we can't have traditional values amongst men. Just like we need a patriarchy, we also need a matriarchy. Just like we need a matriarchy, we also need a patriarchy. It goes two ways. You need both parties to be involved with rebuilding family values in society.
Mm-hmm. So you're not on Tinder. What do you think about Tinder and that whole phenomenon?
Oh, I think Tinder has ruined everything. I think dating apps in general, as somebody who, has once upon a time, I think it was 2 years, I haven't used a dating app in forever. And to be honest, I didn't use it for very long, because dating apps really, from the moment I used it, I realized I'm not getting anything out of this, because all the guys who are using dating apps just want to sleep with me on the first date, which I'm not okay with. I want to find somebody that I'm going to marry, settle down with, and have children with. And not only that, but dating apps ruin conversation. They ruin real effort into a relationship. They ruin the idea that you have to build something and work towards something and really get to know somebody to build that relationship with. And the problem in today's society, and the reason why so many people aren't getting married anymore, is because they're searching for that new love like it's a drug. They want to feel that, that fairy tale feeling, but the reality is no relationship is actually like that. You're going to have to really work through struggle. Really want to build something with someone, because guess what, guys? Marriage isn't easy. Building a family isn't easy, but it's a whole lot more worth it than sex.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think about Hollywood? I mean, we saw Matt Damon making fun of Kavanaugh on Saturday Night Live, and yet his whole career was made by Harvey Weinstein, the notorious sexual harasser.
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah.
I think Hollywood is hugely to blame for the downfall of, family values. I mean, if you watch any Stephen Kubrick film, especially with the movie Eyes Wide Shut, the entire film was about, adultery and sex, and how it's really affected our society and our morals. And of course, Stephen Kubrick was killed shortly after that film, calling out the Illuminati and whatnot. But we're not going to get into that. But I think Hollywood really has played into a lot of our moral structure. And I feel like this actually is part of a huge plan to kind of numb our morals and numb how we see each other as human beings and numb how we build our family structures. Because the problem is people want things so quick nowadays. They want things just like that automatically. They don't want to work for things anymore. They don't want to work for whether it's money or relationships or really anything. They want things just like that. But the truth is you have to work towards everything that is worth it in life. Nothing that's worth it comes easy. And that's just the reality of it. You have to work towards a relationship. You have to build a strong bond with somebody. You have to build trust. That is what a relationship is based on. That is what family values are based on. And of course, Hollywood, the government, the education system wants to tear that all down.
Well, Ashton, you are well on your way. First of all, how old are you?
I'm 23 years old as of Monday.
Wow, 23. Now,
last week,
So what's next for you in your work? If Frat Lives Matter takes off, what's your next project? What are you working on?
I actually want to do more of Frat Lives Matter type stuff. I'm actually trying to build this into a serious movement. I actually want to get together men who tell their stories that they've ever been falsely convicted of sexual assault. I want to talk to men and ask them, what are you looking for in a woman and wife material? Because if you ask a lot of these guys, a lot of people view frat boys as these guys who use women and, just toss them to the side. But it really makes you think, ladies, if you're sleeping with a guy on the first date, he's not going to want to continue that relationship. A guy looks for a wife. He has certain morals he wants her to have. I really want to sit down with guys and say, what are the morals? What are the things you want for someone you're going to marry? Not, go to a party with every once in a while, but really sit down with and marry and settle down and have children and blah, blah. Because believe it or not, a lot of these guys do intend to have children and marry and settle down and have a real life. The problem is they're also on campuses full of sorority girls who'll just sleep with them on the first night and just get it done with. I've seen it happen. I've had friends who sleep with guys on the first date and go, why didn't he call me back? Well, you kind of gave him it all. So you kind of proved to him that you don't want to work at something. But same thing with guys. The guys do the same thing. Like if a guy sleeps with a girl on the first date, I'm sure, it's not going to work out for either of them.
Yeah, interesting. Well, I think you need to, express this to a lot more college students and young people. Ashton Whitty, where can we follow you on Twitter?
I am on Twitter and YouTube as Ashton Birdie, ASHTONBIRDIE.
Give her a follow. Ashton, as always, thanks for your insight.
Thank you.
All right.